Thank you. Further debate, the honourable member from Dufferin-Caledon.
Thank you, Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise today to support the member from Wellington-Halton Hills on this important resolution to add attendance services to the provincial wait time strategy. For many years, experts in healthcare have told members of all three parties that our health system is too focused on hospital beds. Hospitals provide wonderful acute care for the citizens of this province, but it is the most expensive setting for healthcare service delivery and, quite frankly, not the best type of care for stable individuals with a disability. As the Ontario Community Support Association highlighted in their August 13th press conference, people on attendance services wait list put pressure on the healthcare system because they remain inappropriately stuck, waiting in long-term care homes, acute care beds, chronic care hospitals, and rehabilitation facilities, all at a much higher cost to taxpayers. It's important that members in this House recognize that a failure to support today's resolution to make attendance services a priority by adding it to the provincial wait time strategy will result in higher costs to the taxpayer. At the same news conference in August, the Ontario Community Support Association told us that the wait list for attendance services is 4 to 10 years. For 4 to 10 years, individuals with disabilities and their families are not getting the services they need. They remain in hospital or long-term care beds, or their families, many with aging parents, struggle to continue to provide for their daily care needs. So even though we know that it is more cost-effective and more appropriate to have individuals cared for at home, and even though we know attendance services allow people with physical disabilities to actively participate in their community, go to school, get a job, contribute in other ways, we continue to focus our healthcare dollars in other areas. This issue is most important across the province, but it also touches specific families in Dufferin-Caledon. This summer, I met with a constituent from Honeywood who receives the Ministry of Health's direct funding for attendance services. I suppose you could call her one of the lucky ones. The program is administered by the Centre for Independent Living Toronto. She tells me it took 4 years for her application to be approved, and this year, when she applied for a slight modification of her level of care because her health had changed, she was told that the Centre for Independent Living Toronto was not even considering 08 applications. They were still reviewing 2007 applications. Why is that? Well, the Centre for Independent Living has a huge waiting list, and this Liberal government has not increased their funding since they were elected in 2003. So SILT is trying to serve as many Ontarians as they can with too few resources. In fact, my constituent believes that something needs to happen, long-term care or worse, for an individual with direct funding before the next person on the waiting list can receive funding for attendance services. My constituent wanted me to know that she feels this is a wonderful program that allows her to routinely participate in the community and live in her home. For example, I know she's an active member of the Dufferin County Accessibility Advisory Committee and the Honeywood community. She came to see me because she wanted to brief me on this issue, and she believes other people with a physical disability need to have the same opportunity that she has. In addition to direct funding not being a priority for the Ministry of Health, my constituents are also having issues with funding from community care access centres. The boundary change introduced by the Liberal government has resulted in my constituents being asked to do with less service. Their disability has not changed, but the level of service being provided has. An Orangeville resident who is a quadriplegic as a result of a car accident had been receiving home care since 1995. Under the former Waterloo-Wellington-Dufferin CCAC, he received morning and night visits 7 days a week to assist with personal care. Under Central West CCAC, he was discharged from nursing and occupational therapy. Respite care was eliminated. His case is under review to determine what other services can be cut. The minister responded to his correspondence by suggesting he use the CCAC complaint process and to call the long-term care action line. Another constituent who happens to suffer with ALS has been told he was receiving too much care from the Waterloo-Wellington-Dufferin CCAC. He's been told his CCAC hours are being cut, and a referral has been made to the March of Dimes to make up the care hour difference. That's right, the CCAC is referring people to a non-profit agency and expects them to provide frontline care rather than our universal healthcare system. The March of Dimes also has a waiting list, so now the Central West CCAC has agreed to provide attendant care hours, but only until the March of Dimes can implement in its services. He also needs respite care hours, but of course there's no support for his wife. All three of these examples are alarming. I'm sure that members of all three parties have similar experiences from their own ridings. So what are we going to do about it? Now is the time to look at implementing the change that healthcare experts have been advocating for more than a decade. Now is the time to provide Ontarians with physical disabilities with the services they deserve. These citizens can either be taken care of at home with the right resources for less money or forced into long-term care or a hospital setting, which puts added strain on an already beleaguered health system and doesn't allow individuals with disabilities to fully participate in our communities. I encourage all members to support the member from Wellington Halton Hills resolution. Let's make attendant care services a priority by adding it to the provincial wait time strategy. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.